Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling a feeling that I think is, well, it's absolutely universal.
Oh, for sure.
If you're a parent, a grandparent, or frankly, anyone who spent more than 10 minutes with a 4-year-old, you know the pressure.
The pressure to maximize every single minute.
Exactly. You know the scene. You're at the zoo, or maybe you're watching a nature documentary on a rainy Sunday, and suddenly you feel this massive weight on your shoulders.
Mhm.
You feel like you need to be a walking, talking encyclopedia. You're looking at a zebra and thinking, if I don't explain the evolutionary advantage of stripes right now or quiz them on the Latin name, I am failing their cognitive development.
It's the curse of the information age, isn't it? We have the world's knowledge right in our pockets, so we feel this heavy obligation to just transfer it directly into our children's brains instantly.
But the research we're looking at today suggests that might actually be the wrong approach entirely.
It might even be counterproductive.
Which is why I'm so excited about our mission today. We are looking at a stack of research that combines two seemingly unrelated things: the African painted dog
Right.
and the science of early childhood education.
It sounds like a strange pairing at first
It
glance.
really does. But here's a pivot. We are not doing a biology lecture today.
No, we are not.
We are not here to memorize gestation periods or hunt success rates.
Definitely not. I mean, if you leave this deep dive knowing the average weight of a wild dog, but you haven't thought about how to play with your kids, we've probably missed the point.
So what are we doing?
We are here to look at how this specific animal, the African painted dog, is the perfect vessel for a concept called play-based learning.
Okay.
We've combed through reports from Harvard Center on the Developing Child, the NAEYC, and the consensus for that 4 to 6-year-old demographic is pretty absolute. Play isn't a break from learning.
It is the learning.
It is the learning.
And I love that we picked the painted dog for this, because when you actually look at the sources, this animal is fascinating. It's not a lion, it's not a cheetah, it has a totally different vibe.
It's almost the anti-lion. Lions can be aggressive even within their own prides. Cheetahs are solitary hunters. They do everything alone.
But the painted dog.
They are the ultimate role model for cooperation. They model empathy, belonging, teamwork, better than almost any other predator on the savannah.
So if you are looking to teach a 5-year-old about social connection, you don't need a worksheet.
No.
You don't need a lecture, you need a pack.
Precisely. You need a pack mentality.
So here's our plan for this deep dive. We have pulled together 5 specific worksheet-free activities based on the painted dog,
Yep. We've got movement, building, art.
sound play, and a really sweet empathy exercise. But before we get to the how, we need to spend just a minute on the why.
The science of the play itself.
Right, because I think a lot of parents hear play-based learning and they just hear, let the kids run wild while I drink coffee in the other room.
Sure, I get that.
But that's not what the research says, is it?
Not exactly. The literature makes a really important distinction. There's free play, which is great. That's the chaotic running around stuff.
And then there's direct instruction.
Right, your flashcards and drills. But the sweet spot, the gold standard for this age group, is something called guided play.
Guided play. Okay, let's unpack that. How is that different?
Think of it like a professional kitchen. You know the concept of mise en place?
Setting the table, getting everything ready before you start cooking.
Exactly. In guided play, the adult sets up the environment. You provide the materials, you frame the scenario, you set the stage.
But then you step back.
You step back. Once the curtain goes up, the child is the director. You aren't telling them what to do, you are nudging them. You aren't the teacher at the blackboard holding a pointer.
So what are you?
The phrase the researchers use, which I just love, is be the guide on the side, not the sage on the stage.
Guide on the side. I like that. It takes the pressure off of me having to know everything.
Completely.
Yeah.
And the data backs this up. Research shows that for kids aged 4 to 6, this guided approach actually improves self-regulation and vocabulary retention significantly better than direct instruction.
So it actually sticks better.
It sticks because they engage with it physically and playfully. It gets wired into the brain's architecture.
Okay, so let's test this theory. Let's become the guide on the side and look at first activity. This one is about getting the wiggles out, which is always priority number 1.
Always.
We're calling it run like a painted dog.
This is a great place to start because it uses the child's natural energy, which is usually, abundant, to teach gross motor skills and biology at the same time.
The setup is simple enough. You need space, a backyard, a park, maybe a long hallway if you're brave.
Mm-hmm.
And the core idea is alternating between sprinting and resting. But this isn't just run fast. What's the biological hook here?
Well, we have to look at how painted dogs hunt. A cheetah is a sprinter, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, but they burn out almost immediately. They overheat.
Mm.
Painted dogs are endurance athletes. They can run for miles at a steady pace. But more importantly, they rely on the pack to succeed.
So the game isn't a race. It's not who can get to the tree first.
No, and that's a critical shift for a competitive 4-year-old.
Mm.
The variation here is follow the leader, but you have to stay shoulder to shoulder
You move as a unit.
as a single unit.
Yeah.
If the leader turns left, the whole pack turns left. If the leader stops, everyone stops.
That sounds deceptively simple, but have you ever tried to get two 5-year-olds to walk in a straight line?
It is incredibly difficult. And that is where the developmental magic happens. It's called self-regulation.
Impulse control.
It's pure impulse control. The child's brain is screaming, run fast, go, go, go. But the game demands run with. They have to constantly adjust their speed to match their partner.
You're essentially gamifying empathy. You have to be aware of the body next to you.
Exactly. You aren't competing against each other. You are moving with each other. That is the essence of the painted dog pack.
And as the parent, the guide on the side, we aren't there to correct their running form. We're not saying pick your knees up.
No, no. You want to connect the physical sensation to the biology. So, when the pack stops for a rest, you ask an open-ended question. Whoa, how did your body feel right now?
Is your heart beating fast?
Do you need to pant like a dog to cool down?
Because, and here's a fact I actually remember, dogs don't sweat like humans.
Correct. They pant to regulate heat. So when your child is panting, they are physically experiencing the biology of the animal. They aren't memorizing it from a book. They are feeling it in their lungs.
That's embodied learning.
That's it.
I love that. Okay, let's bring the energy down a notch. We've run miles across the Serengeti, now we need to communicate. Activity number 2 is sound and communication play.
This is one of my favorites because it corrects a major misconception that, most media gives us.
Right. When I think wild dog, or really any predator, I think of a bark or a growl, a wolf howl.
And that is completely wrong for the African painted dog.
Really?
If you listen to audio of a pack, they don't roar. They don't have that low, rumbly sound you get from a lion. They actually communicate with these high-pitched twittering sounds.
Twittering.
It sounds almost like a flock of birds or a squeaky toy being pressed over and over.
That does not sound very ferocious.
It's not meant to be ferocious. It's meant to be communicative. They use it to rally the pack or find each other in tall grass.
And to hear those sounds.
And they have these massive rounded ears, huge Mickey Mouse ears, that act like radar dishes.
So the activity is the big ear game.
Right. You have the child make big cup hands behind their ears to simulate those radar dishes. You go across the room, maybe even hide behind a sofa, and you whisper.
And they have to catch the sound.
Have to catch the sound. But here's the trick. Instead of roaring, we are practicing those unique vocalizations. We are twittering, we are whining, we are making chirping noises.
This feels like a stealthy lesson in focus.
It's sensory awareness. In a world that is so loud, we are teaching children to filter out background noise and lock onto one specific sound. It's a crucial skill for when they eventually get to a classroom.
And volume control, too, I imagine.
Huge for this age group. You can explain the difference between a rallying cry, which is loud, for when the pack needs together, and a searching sound, which might be quiet so you don't scare away dinner.
And I suppose this is a good moment for that comparison skill educators love. You can ask, does a painted dog roar like a lion?
And the answer is no. And just like that, you've taught animal classification. You're contrasting them through sound without ever pulling out a chart or a textbook.
It sticks because it's weird. Dogs that tweet like birds is a sticky concept. It's an aha moment.
Exactly. And aha moments are what we are chasing.
Okay, moving on to activity 3. Let's get artistic. We're calling this pattern patchwork.
Yes, this connects to the visual identity of the animal. Their scientific name, Lycaon pictus, actually translates to painted wolf.
And their coats are these incredible, chaotic mosaics of brown, black, white, and yellow. And the key fact here, which I found really cool, is that no two are alike.
Correct. It is exactly like a human fingerprint. Researchers who study these dogs can identify every single individual just by looking at their marking.
Oh, that's the one with the white lightning bolt.
Exactly that. So for the activity, we are breaking out the paints, or if you want to avoid the mess, and I often do, just use scraps of colored paper.
Brown, black, white, yellow, and we're making a coat pattern.
And the key rule here for the parent, remember, guide on the side, is that there is no wrong pattern.
Because in nature, there is no wrong pattern.
Right.
Now, I can hear a skeptical listener saying, okay, we're doing arts and crafts. Is that really deep dive science?
Yeah.
What are we actually teaching here besides gluing paper?
We are teaching visual discrimination. That's the fancy term. You're asking the child to notice details, contrast, and differences. This is actually a pre-literacy skill. Being able to tell the difference between a brown splotch and a black splotch is the same brain function as telling the difference between the letter B and the letter D.
Wow, that is a fascinating connection. I never would have put those two together.
But on a deeper social-emotional level, you're teaching identity.
How so?
Well, you explain that every dog is part of the pack. They belong to the group. But every dog is also unique. They have their own special markings. That's a lovely concept for a 5-year-old. I can be part of a family, part of a class, and still be me.
I can fit in without blending in.
That is beautiful, yes.
So practically as a parent, I'm guessing I shouldn't be saying, oh, that doesn't look like a dog.
Definitely not. You want to promote descriptive language. So you say, I see you used a lot of white on the tail. Why did you choose that?
Why did you choose that?
That question is magic. It forces them to verbalize their thinking process. That's where the cognitive processing happens, not in the painting, but in the explaining.
Okay, let's get into construction. Activity number 4 is habitat building. This is for the Lego kids, the block builders.
Yes. So painted dogs live in savannas and grasslands. They need vast open spaces to roam, but they also use dens, usually old aardvark holes, especially when there are pups.
So we are building the den. Blocks, cushions, blankets. If you're outside, sticks and leaves.
The loose parts theory of play,
Yeah.
using whatever's around.
Exactly. But we need to make sure the habitat meets their needs. It can't just be a tower.
Right. It needs shade, because Africa is hot. It needs a place to sleep. And crucially, it needs space to run outside of it. This teaches spatial reasoning. How do objects fit together?
Now here's the twist, and I think this is so clever because it introduces conservation without making it sad or scary. You suggest introducing a provocation.
Right. So picture this. Your child has built this beautiful, vast habitat. They're proud of it. Then you take a strip of masking tape or a piece of cardboard and you put it right through the middle. And you say, uh-oh, a road is here.
You disrupt the play.
You disrupt the play to create a problem. You ask, the pack is on this side, but they need to hunt on that side. How do they cross?
Why do this? Why ruin their masterpiece?
Because painted dogs face huge threats from habitat fragmentation, roads, fences, farms. By introducing the road in play, you're asking the child to problem solve.
Do they build a bridge? Do they build a tunnel?
Do they move the den? It creates a narrative problem, and it plants the seed that humans impact where animals live. But because they are solving the problem in the game, look, I built a tunnel, it feels empowering, not defeating.
That is a really important distinction for this age group. You don't want to paralyze them with the dogs are in danger.
No, you want to give them agency. Always keep it hopeful. They are the engineers of the solution.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into our final activity, Activity 5. And this might be my favorite because it really highlights why the painted dog is so special. This is the caring pack.
This is the heart of the episode. You see, many predators have a rigid hierarchy where the biggest and strongest eat first. If food is scarce in a lion pride, the cubs or the weak might starve.
Right.
Painted dogs operate on a completely different operating system.
How so?
They are the superheroes of care. When they return from a hunt, they will feed the pups first, even before the alpha pair sometimes. And they will even feed the sick, injured, or elderly adults who couldn't join the hunt.
And we have to talk about how they feed them because kids love the gross stuff.
Oh, we do. And this is a great selling point for a 6-year-old. They regurgitate the meat.
They barf it up.
To us, it's gross. But for a wild dog, that is the ultimate act of love. It's ensuring that even if you have a broken leg and can't run, you still get dinner.
Everyone survives.
Everyone survives.
That is incredibly sweet in a slimy kind of way. So the activity is help the pup.
It's a role-playing game. Simple, dramatic play. One person, maybe the parent or a sibling, pretends to be the pup, or an injured dog resting in the den.
And the others have to go out and hunt.
All right, find a hidden toy or a snack in the kitchen, and bring it back to share.
It sounds so simple, but what's the developmental payload there?
Empathy. Pure and simple. It's shifting the focus from what can I get to what someone else need. It reinforces the idea that we survive together.
We survive together. That's a powerful family motto, too.
It is. And you can contrast this. You can ask, do you think a lion would share its dinner like this? It helps them understand that different animals have different strategies, but the painted dog strategy is kindness.
I love that. The painted dog's survival strategy is kindness.
It really is. And in a way, isn't that what we want our family pack to be?
Absolutely. So let's recap the mission. We've run like endurance athletes, we've listened with giant radar ears, we've painted our own unique coats,
We've built a habitat and solved a civil engineering problem.
and we've taken care of the sick,
Yeah.
and not a single worksheet was harmed in the making of this deep dive.
No flashcards, no quizzes.
And that's the point.
It is. And I want to offer a bit of reassurance here. If you try these activities and your child just wants to run in circles and bark or chirp, or they paint the dog purple,
That's okay.
that is absolutely okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Repetition through play builds understanding. They're learning body awareness. They are learning social cues. They are learning that learning itself is fun.
You're building the learner.
Exactly. The facts, the geography of Africa, the biology, that can fill in later. Right now, you are building the foundation.
I think that's such a relief for parents to hear. You don't need to be the expert lecturer.
No, you just need to set the stage, be the guide on the side, and play along.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the playful world of the African painted dog, we want to leave you with one final thought to chew on.
We often look at the animal kingdom and we see wildness. We see teeth and claws and survival of the fittest. But if we view the painted dog not as a ferocious wild animal, but as a master of social cooperation, if we see them as teachers of belonging, what other lessons about family and community are hiding in the animal kingdom, just waiting for us to play them out?
Something to think about the next time you're watching a nature documentary with your little ones.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Go find your pack and play.
See you next time.